Is this the future of Australian MMA? Unanimously, we all agree. But is it at present? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley, and my guest today is the Hex Featherweight Champion, George Mangos, an up-and-coming superstar, 20 years old, already a champion in one of the best promotions in Australian MMA. Now, he took out the pound-for-pound and number one featherweight in Australia for quite some time. He has been on a 6-fight win streak. That was Justin Van Heerden. George Mangos got called up. He was scheduled to be a part of the Eternal MMA Grand Prix. Now, full disclosure, this interview took place June 18th. Of course, a week prior to the Eternal MMA Grand Prix, of which he was supposed to be a part of before he removed himself and gambled on himself and took on Justin Van Heerden for the Hex Featherweight Championship. So it was a very exciting week, and of course, now that Eternal has passed and Dips Gillies, his original opponent, moves on in the round, it's very interesting. So when we chat to George or anyone in the featherweight division again, it'll be interesting to see kind of where everyone sits. But right now, I need you to take note that the interview in question, George Mangos, Hex Featherweight Champion, this is right off the back of him capturing the belt on June 18th. We get his thoughts heading in to the Eternal MMA Grand Prix. Of course, you can check the Eternal MMA Grand Prix out, Eternal MMA 86 on UFC Fight Pass or Hex Fight Series 31, which is the one that George Mangos is in. He wins by an amazing flying triangle, which I may have originally called an accidental crash triangle, an opportunistic setup. I didn't see how beautiful it was at the time, but we all go into that. And you can see that on Combat Sports Network. I think that's still there, Combat Sports Network New Zealand. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I still want to put this interview up because George is just he's a great chat, and he's come a long way in not just his media, but his fighting career. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Hex Featherweight Champion, George Mangos. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, there were four men in the lead up, and there's only one man that feels like he remains the new Hex Featherweight Champion, George Mangos. Mate, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on again, Mitch.
How does it feel to have, it feels like clocked Australian MMA? You'd like 12, you started MMA and you smashed it already.
No, it feels great. It does feel like a bit of a speed run, to be honest, but yeah, I'm not complaining. You know, just got handed this opportunity for the fight for the belt, take out the number one guy. It was just handed to me on a platter, so I couldn't say no. And yeah, like you said on Instagram and your post, the gamble paid off.
How does it feel to have pulled off an accidental, by chance, triangle armbar victory?
Yeah, that's great. I live for those moments, those flukes.
Mate, yeah, it was weird because I clarify from my point of view, I was like half doing the dishes, and then because like Justin was just like, really, you were doing well, and conditioning was outstanding and everything, and you know, each round you improved. I think I said it in the breakdown. The first round, obviously, we'll get your thoughts in a minute, but the first round sort of dominated in the grappling. Second round, you started to kind of, I think, throw some more elbows. The third round, obviously, started to look a lot better. You started to get better as the fight went on. And I was like, man, I don't know if George is going to be able to figure this out. It looks like Justin's grappling's just too good. And then you found the overhook, you knew when to go, and you did, in fact, deliberately set up a perfectly executed triangle. Talk us through all of that.
Yeah, like you said, so the first round, it was all Justin, you know, like we started off on the feet, but yeah, he got me down, controlling me, and got control time. Didn't do much damage, but yeah, definitely won that round on control time. But I don't know what it is. I swear after that round ended, like I was so confident I was going to win the fight, even though like I clearly lost that round. Yeah, I just as soon as I said to myself, that's all he's got. Like that's the most he can do to me, and that's when we're dry and it's in the first round. He couldn't sub me. He couldn't, you know, get off damage. So I knew that that's his best. He's not going to do much more than that. So after that round ended, my confidence was through the roof, to be honest. So yeah, then I came out all cylinders firing. Second round, landed some good leg kicks, spinning back kicks, whatever. And then I go for that stuff a lot at training, inspiring and things like that. And then I just thought, fuck it. Like I heard the ref, said, let's work the first time. And I was like, oh fuck, like I'm only gonna have a small window because he's gonna pull us off. And then he said, let's work again. And I'm like, all right, I just gotta go for it because he's gonna separate us. And then locked it up and squeezed for my dear life.
Yeah, you put a new meaning to lockjaw, which was good. In terms of, I mean, you're nearly down 3 rounds. Like that was like, was it a bit of sort of desperation? Did you know you'd lost that round, or like is it easy to throw those subs up when you know you've kind of lost that round? There's maybe 20, 30 seconds left in the round type thing. Was it easier to sort of go for it at that moment?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe if I was like had that round in the bag, there wouldn't have been a need for me to throw that up. Like I'd already won the round. Yeah, I guess that probably plays a factor as well. I thought it was if that round had ended, I thought it would have been 2-1 Justin. I think I won the second round. He took me down for a bit, but I think I did more on the feet. Like it wasn't enough control time to win that second round. I'm not sure what the judges scored it, but either way, regardless, doesn't matter anyways. So
no, it's it's interesting, like because when often people ask me like who I think won fights, I don't think on like who I think won the fight. I'm always like, what are the judges? What do the judges think? And even though there's like new rules, they do really sort of rely heavily on like who's kind of on top or who's pushing the pace. But like I even said in the second round, you were really starting to get some damage with the elbows on the ground. Did you anticipate that you were going to be on your back as much as you were?
I don't know about as much. I probably thought I was going to be on my back less, to be honest. But we prepared to be on our back, not for that long. But yeah. So he was, man. Justin's a good opponent, man. He like no one in the gym can really manhandle me like that and keep me down and push me like that. So he did a great job. But that's just what I do. I guess I just if a guy beats me 9 times out of 10, I make that one time when it counts on the night.
And in terms of, I mean, like I even said it in sort of the reaction sort of breakdown, and I kind of want to see, like I know that you pulled off an impressive victory. I think I kind of want to see you go on that run of like starching 1 or 2 more guys before we really send you off to the stratosphere. But in terms of your sort of assessment of where you're at in your career, obviously you just beat the pound for pound #1 featherweight in Australia. Like where is your sort of head at in terms of when you want to go to that sort of next level? What do you think is left to do?
Yeah, look, I'm ready for whatever call up. If it's now after this fight, I think after one more, like you said, if I start someone, whoever's next, if I make another impressive victory there, I think that'll be enough to send me off to the UFC. But we'll see. But that's definitely what I'm aiming to do. If I don't get a call up now, then I think there's a Hex in September. I can defend my belt, most likely against Jarrett, I think. So if I put him away impressively, I think that'll be enough to send me off.
And I think too, Jarrett's. I think he's now 8-2. Like it's a very good record as well. It's a good fun fight for you. Of course, you can get caught, but it's not like where a Justin's going to come out. That he's kind of like going to grapple with you type thing. Jarrett's going to be a nice fun fight. Do fighters like that bother you at all with Jarrett, or like make you cautious at all? Because it's like at any moment he could catch you.
Yeah, we've got to be cautious with everyone, right? But yeah, he is like that sort of wild style, like his name says. He's dangerous. Like he throws some flashy stuff. He's long. Yeah, he's as dangerous as anyone else, but he's trained some more on the feet. But it is going to be an exciting fight. If that's the one that's next, I'm looking forward to that one. I like my odds against Jarrett. I like my chances against anyone, but like you said, it's a good guy to take out, 8-2 record. Yeah, it'll be an exciting fight.
Did you watch the Sam and Jarrett fight?
Yeah, I watched it back the other day. Not on the night. I saw glimpses of it, but I was warming up and stuff. So, but I watched it the other night. Look, I don't know about like the decision. It could have gone either way. Like I think round 2 was clearly Jarrett, and round 3 was clearly Sam. 1 is up in the air. Like I can see why Sam says he won. like I can see you could definitely give Sam the first round. You could definitely give Jarrett the first round. Yeah, I mean I guess that's their fault for letting it go be that close.
Who do you think won?
I think Sam won. I think Sam won. I think he done better. I think it just enough to edge out that first round.
Yeah, I especially with that sort of stuff, I often think that like no man's kind of hurt in that fight because I think Jarrett won the first two just because of, I don't think any man won type thing, those first two. Like no one got dominated or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think Jarrett edged him out in the first two rounds. But then round three, Sem like ragdolled him in areas. So it's like I don't think any guy loses any stock type thing. I don't think anyone gets sent off into the sort of stratosphere either. But I think, if Sem goes out and even if you beat Jarrett and say you want another one, I would be okay with putting Sem straight in there as well, even coming off that loss. So I don't think that fight hurts either of them. In terms of like, you've got the Hex belt there, obviously loving Hex at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that locked in? Is that a foregone conclusion that Jarret Wilbraham will be next, or are you potentially gonna see who falls out of an eternal Grand Prix?
Look, I wouldn't mind having two belts. I guess we'll have to see what happens there. See if Eternal would want me back on their show. But for now, like you said, loving Hex. Yeah, I'm thankful for the opportunity they gave me. So, yeah, if they want me to fight Jarrett next, then nothing's locked in. But, yeah, I think that fight was sort of made out to be a number one contenders fight. So that's just what my assumption is. But I haven't spoken to the boys yet about a next matchup. But I'm assuming that's who they're going to put forward if Jarrett wants that fight. I mean, if someone gets injured for August, I'm always ready. So we'll see.
I mapped it out, and I know no promotion is going to like me doing this, but like I mapped it out in the sense of this is how I think it's going to happen in the world of MMA. I think someone's going to get injured in the Grand Prix. Justin Van Heerden is going to slide in, right? Yeah. And then you're going to defend against Jarrett in September. And then around about that October, November mark, Justin ends up winning the belt because maybe he fills in for Seb, right? Wins the belt. And then you go for the eternal belt against the same guy.
Yeah, that's it. That'll be a good turn of events. Everything just flip on its head. That's it. Look.
You've been an active fighter as well in terms of, especially when you're young and upcoming, you try and take all the hard fights as quick as you can. But what you normally see is when guys then get to the title, even at the UFC level, they're like, all right, I'm going to go on holidays and rest up a little bit. Like, what's your sort of plan? Are you going to slow it down, be a little bit smart? Not that you haven't been smart, but be smarter with the next sort of fights? Or are you still just going to be trying active as ever?
Nah, well, as much as I love this belt, it's not a UFC belt yet, so it's still all full steam ahead. Yeah, if I could fight before September, I would, but the next Hex is September. Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna pop up on Eternal, to be honest. So yeah, I'll fight on the next Hex for sure. Yeah, that's it's not a UFC belt, like I said. So until then, got to do whatever I can to, make statements and make myself undeniable for that call.
And without a doubt, like we said, the gamble paid off. It quite easily could have gone the other way. But in the sense of kind of where you feel, have you had more management reach out, sponsors reach out? Do you know if the UFC? Do you know, has there been any movement with stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Had lots of sort of sponsors reach out. Different companies, management as well. Been speaking to. I haven't signed with anyone yet, but been speaking to a few. Yeah, they all want to sign whatever's hottest, and that's me at the moment, taking out the number one guy. So yeah, it makes sense for them to be doing that. But yeah, so now's the time I think for me where those people can help. Whereas before it was a bit early on in my career for management, and they couldn't. I'm not going to get signed to the UFC at 2-0 and 1-0. So now's the time to start looking at that stuff. Yeah, it's exciting.
I feel like, I mean, and shout out to Hex. I feel like Eternal and Hex do it a little bit differently, in the sense of Eternal often gives title shots. I mean, there's exceptions, but they often give title shots to guys where it feels like you've got to have at least 10 fights. And there's obviously a reason for that, and it proves well. But Hex do it slightly different. Not better, not worse, just different. They tend to kind of, I feel like, gamble on a few guys every now and then. They did it with John O'Mikalev. They did it with Harry Webb, and they've done it with you. What do you think goes into sort of seeing these guys? Because every single time you guys have been given shots, I've had to be the one that goes, "Hang on, is it too soon?" And I've been proved wrong every time. So, what do you think goes into the sort of Hex scouting of the title shots?
I mean, it's good. I think like those. I mean, if I was like 8, 9-0, 10-0 fighting Justin, I think I'd be a pretty big favourite against him, and not many questions would be being asked. But just because I've had a short career but exciting, it's just puts the question out there: is he ready? How's he going to handle it? I guess it draws more eyes and makes it more exciting, and brings up conversations like this. So yeah, I think it's a smart move by them, and like you said, it's paid off for the less experienced guy every time. So they clearly know what they're doing.
Do you, in terms of doing this kind of all over, obviously this has gone the perfect route for you, but if Eternal didn't have you in the Grand Prix, if Eternal had you in a title shot, or like talking into a title shot, would you have kind of bounced for the Hex shot against Justin?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe not then, I guess. I guess maybe because it's just the tournament, it was, a bit uncertain. Like, you got to fight this guy, then that guy. You don't know about injuries, and it's not like a booked-in title shot against this one guy. Like you said, you have to beat this guy, then beat the next guy. And plus with the opponent change as well, it wasn't like, yeah, I guess everything just fell into place for me to make the move across.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just thinking that too. It's like, you're in a really interesting position where you almost felt like a free agent, in a way. Like there's like options to kind of go here or go here. Do you like that sort of Hex and Eternal have all these sort of options, especially at like featherweight?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, featherweight's fucking like pretty stacked at the moment. Like there's lots of talent around. Yeah, the more options, the better. Like if I say, for example, I was exclusive with Eternal, I wouldn't be sitting here with this belt right now. So the more options, the better. But yeah, like I don't think there needs to be any dramas or like beef between them. I think they can both coexist. They're gonna have to. There's not enough. Like Hex doesn't run enough shows, or Eternal doesn't run enough shows each year to have everyone fight on their shows. So I think they can both coexist and put on great shows together. Yeah, and then like you said, that leads to more opportunities and more options, and more stars can be born and more titles and clickbait for you.
And speaking of like coexisting, I mean, like you mentioned Eternal earlier. Like, do you know? I mean, I know you don't deal with them directly, but do you know if that sort of bridge has been burnt to the ground, or if you can cross it at any point?
I mean, I hope not. Like, obviously, they weren't going to be too happy with me moving across, but no, there's nothing. I don't have anything against those guys. I mean, they helped me out, giving me a platform and fights early in my career. So, yeah, I'm thankful for that. I hope the bridge isn't burnt. I mean, we still have plenty of talent outlines that needs to fight. So, if it's not me that's on there, I hope at least there's other boys from the gym that are on there, on Hex or on anywhere. So yeah, no, I hope it's not. But I don't think it's fully burnt.
That's a question. So that was a question off the back of that. Do you think, and do your coaches, like, I know this was a massive opportunity for you to jump from sort of the Eternal Grand Prix into the Hex title fight. Do you think like, oh shit, I might piss Eternal off so bad that they never book a Lions Den guy again, and that could affect my whole team? Did that cross your mind at all?
No, I know when we like originally thought we were gonna make the move. I thought maybe like it would just be me. Maybe I'm not fighting on there. Look, I think it's silly a move for Eternal to do that. Like we've got lots of talent. So look, if they didn't want to put anyone else on again and have all our talent, boom elsewhere, that's on them. I don't think they're stupid enough to do that. Look, I'm not saying they have to be over the moon with me not fighting on their show and taking this one. But yeah, I think that's the wrong move for them to do that.
Well, mate, what is next for George Mangos in the next couple of weeks, couple of months?
Yeah, I guess back to training. You know, I came out unscathed, no injuries, so I'm always thankful for that. Yeah, if nothing else pops up, such as UFC or anything else that catches my eye, just gonna defend this belt.
Love it. Now, could we see you on a super fight in in New South Wales?
You never know. Why, yeah, sell out my coach's show.
Mate, I love it. Before I let you go, anything you want to get out there? I don't know. Do you want to call Jarret Wilbraham a bitch or anything like that? You just feel free.
No, that's it. I mean, I'm keen to fight him. If he wants to have a scrap and have a shot at the belt, I'll be there waiting.
Brother, well, it was an honor to watch you fight and to see you rise. It's been weird because normally I talk to guys that have spent years chasing the belt, and I know it's been a lot of years in silence, but boy, you've been strapped to a rocket ship, and it's going to be really interesting to see where you go from here. But thanks for taking the time, and thanks for exciting us and educating me on your crash triangle, which was set up perfectly.
That's all right. No worries. Thanks for having me on again, bitch.
Peace out, brother.